Ayo, peace. THDENT. Lil here with you guys, coming at you with another video. This is actually one of my latest digital programs that I've created, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. I call it the KISS program. KISS standing for Keep It Super Simple. And this program is dedicated to everybody who smokes. And a little bit of background information as to why I'm creating this program is that personally, myself, I smoked cigarettes for about 8 years, and I've smoked cannabis for a little over 10. So as well as tried many different vapes, cigars, hookahs, you name it. And overcoming this habit was, I should say, very difficult for me at first, but because I went through it and committed to it, I was able to formulate a formula, and this formula is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today so that you can apply it within your life if you choose to do so. So, very simply, it's a 5-step program. As I said, it's the super simple program. Keep it super simple. And this program is going to be step by step, showing you the actions that you need to take. All you're going to need is a pencil and a paper and the will to quit. Because, as I think it's a Chinese proverb that says you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. So if this is something that you've been contemplating, you've been thinking about, and you want to apply and put into action, you are in the right place at the right time. So without further ado, let's get into step 1 of the program. The first thing I'm going to get you to do is, like I said, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and you're going to write out a clearly stated why. Why are you quitting this habit, right? Why are you moving on and opening a new chapter in your life at this moment? And the more meaningful and emotional this why is, the stronger it's going to be. So maybe you just had grandchildren. Maybe you just found out you have some health issues. Maybe you just found out that, or maybe you just have an urge of motivation, right? Maybe you just feel like this is the time, and this is a good time for you to step into this new version of yourself that doesn't rely on nicotine or cigarettes or cannabis in order to self-soothe. So writing out a clearly stated why, and sometimes I find personally it helped me to ask a little bit deeper. So ask yourself why, and then ask yourself why you stated that why, and to take it essentially 7 layers down would be the best. It would be optimal. So really get a strong why, and what you're going to do is write it out and adjust your perspective and see this as an opportunity to grow your confidence. Because I truly believe that one of the best ways to build your confidence is to do things that you're not sure you could do things that you see as difficult. And I believe that perspective is one of the most powerful things in your arsenal, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Therefore, moving forward, doing these challenges, doing these things that are so-called difficult, they're going to motivate you to do even more difficult things. And this is just going to push you to grow your confidence even more and more. So that would be the first step. Write out a clearly stated why and post it somewhere that's visible, so that it's not brushed to the side or closed off in a book. This is something that you're going to be seeing often. And furthermore, repeating it, turning it into somewhat of a mantra, right? Like saying it often. I am doing this because is going to instill it in your mind, and it's going to allow you to focus on the right things. So the second step is going to be what I call add it up. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to add up the amount of time that you've smoked and how much money you've spent on this habit. And then furthermore, you're going to translate that money into a nice number. And this number, you're going to use your imagination to imagine what you could use that number for. So a quick example, let's say you smoke a pack a day. We'll use a nice round number, $20 a day. For 3 years, that's 365 times 3. It would be just under 22 grand, right? So let's say you spent 22 grand on this habit. Where else could this money have flown into your life, right? What other types of investments could you have made? And this is just money, but keep in mind also time. All that time that you spent indulging within this habit could have been spent doing other things. And then furthermore, one thing you can do as well is you can expand that. Let's say you smoked for another 10 years. What would that number be? And then ask yourself, is that something that you want to spend your money on? Because one thing I can say from personal experience is that often we don't really space it out over a period of time. We just look at it as like, oh, it's 20 bucks. I just spent 20 bucks. But $20 a day for 3 years is just under 22 grand. Therefore, that number is a lot more like, it kind of hits you in the face. You're like, whoa, that's a big number. I could do a lot with that, you know? Furthermore, like I said, add up the money, add up the time, and also once you replace it with a healthier habit, you're going to be able, which is going to be one of the further steps, replacing it. Once you replace it with a habit, you're actually going to be adding time to your life because you're not indulging in a behavior that is taking away time. So the third step, which is the most important step in my opinion, is going to be self-image. Rewrite your self-image, right? Like, we can change our identity in a snap of a finger. And the more we do it, the better we get at it. And if you are interested in learning more about this topic, I would highly recommend this book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Fantastic book. Maxwell Maltz, excuse me. It's a really good book, and essentially within this book, he talks about how self-image affects the way you walk around in the world. So Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon, and what he realized, and what made him write this book actually, was how powerful that self-image can be. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say this girl came in, she wanted to get a nose job, man or woman, and they do the procedure, it goes well, and then a few months later she comes back and she says, I want to get another nose job to make my nose smaller. And this happened several times until the point where he was like, listen, like, your nose is minuscule, you barely have a nose at this point. And then he came to realize that the reason these individuals were coming back is because their self-image was accustomed to, I have a big nose. So no matter how small her nose was in actuality, the fact that the self-image was still, I'm someone with a big nose, she wasn't able to see it for what it was. And I say that to say this, if you identify as a smoker, you will always smoke. And this applies in many aspects, but we'll just keep it here for now. So moving forward, if you can change your identity or tweak it, improve it to say the least, it's going to allow you to move forward with confidence. And then once again, as my first point was talking about gaining confidence, once you do this a single time, you will be able to do this more and more and more in order to tweak your self-image to your ideal self-image. As I said, writing out a clearly stated why also helps a lot because it gives you a target to move towards, right? So writing out your old self-image clearly on a pen and paper will give you a good idea of what your starting point is, where you're moving from, and then writing out your new self-image to inspire you is going to help you see what you're moving towards, right? And one thing I would say as well that would be very helpful is to read the new self-image every day until it becomes your reality. So if you want to take it a step further, I would say write it out every day. Even if it's the same thing that you're writing out, do not underestimate the power of writing something, especially when you're writing about yourself. So as you move forward, if you really want to commit to this, I would highly suggest that you rewrite this self-image every single day. And this is going to instill it into your mind even more. This is who I am. This is who I am. And continuing to do this is going to alter your paradigms. And this is something that my mentor, Bob Proctor, taught me, is that there are two ways to change a paradigm. And a paradigm is essentially a collective of beliefs. And in your habits, they make up your paradigms. So what he said is that there are two ways to change your paradigms. Either a big shock, a big boom, something happens that can throw you back, a big life-changing event. This will change your paradigms, or repetition. Every single day, doing it over and over and over again, right? If you're someone who smokes every single day, you are strengthening that paradigm, and you're making it more and more difficult to break free from this paradigm. And therefore, if you alter that and you switch it around, having a new paradigm is going to take some time in order to overcome the old paradigm. Because the way I like to see it is like a table. The more legs are under the table, the more strong and sturdy, stable that table becomes. So therefore, breaking away old paradigms, sometimes you gotta go one leg at a time, right? And as you're breaking it down, you need to be building your new table. So doing so, in my opinion, is one of the most crucial steps. Improving your self-image, altering your self-image is in your control, and this is something that is going to be incredibly pivotal and very beneficial for you moving forward. So that would be step number 3. And so moving forward, step number 4 is going to be make a decision. So for me, one of the most pivotal, as I just said, steps was to make a decision that this is what I'm doing. And a good way to do this would be like to put money down. A lot of people, that works great for them. To put money down, it makes it like there's no turning back now. I put all this money into it. It's going to happen. And doing so really anchors it emotionally, because a lot of times we're emotional with money, right? Whether it leaves or it comes, it inspires emotions within us. So making a decision and promising to yourself and to the people around you that this is what I'm doing is going to really put you into that state of mind of this is happening. This is going to work. This train is moving, right? Like this boat is floating. We're getting it going. And for me, I can say absolutely this was a huge part of me in my transitioning period, altering my self-image. I had to make a decision to do so. So I'd like to congratulate you and say it seems that you've already made that decision by watching this video. So you are already there, but what I'm hinting towards is don't make the promise to me, make the promise to yourself. And what you'll notice is that the more you make these promises to yourself and you keep them, the more trusting you become in your own abilities, which fortifies your confidence, because you are a man of your word, you are a woman of your word, and therefore every time you say you're going to do something, you do it, which is very honorable in my opinion. So that would be step number 4. Step number 5 is going to be replace the habit with something that will occupy or stimulate your mind in order to fill the void. So when we let go of a habit, whatever that habit may be, it creates a void in our life, right? We'll stick on the example of smoking. If you come home from work and your habit is to smoke a cigarette, you need to fill that void with something when you stop. Because if you just sit on the couch and you're chilling after work, and you're not doing anything and you're not smoking, you're going to be thinking about smoking. And one of my favorite quotes is that where attention goes, energy flows. So I'd like to ask you, what are you focusing on? Because the more you focus on, I want this, being a cigarette, or I want this, I want to be the happiest, healthiest version of myself that has confidence and moves forward with honor, right? Like all of these things, if you focus on that aspect of who you are, you're not going to be focusing on this. And once again, one thing that my mentor Bob Proctor taught me is that you cannot focus on a negative and a positive thought simultaneously. It's one or the other. You're either thinking of something negative or you're thinking of something positive. But you will never be thinking of something positive and negative simultaneously, right? Like it might flip in between the two pretty quick, and quick enough that you don't notice it, but it will never be simultaneous, especially subconsciously. And another thing that just came to me now is that the subconscious mind is not able to differentiate between what's real and imagined. So one thing I'd like to add to this that is just coming to me now is visualize yourself as this individual who has quit completely and changed his self-image, his or her self-image. And moving forward, you are, as I said before, altering your paradigm, because the paradigms lie in the subconscious mind. So therefore, through repetition and through continuous effort, this is something that is going to be, it's going to come to you, right? It's going to come to you with ease. And as I stated previously, the more you tackle these type of habits and the more you overcome these fears in your life, the more you're going to gain that confidence and the more you're going to move forward with poise. And doing so is going to help you become the happiest, healthiest version of yourself that you are proud to be. So therefore, it's super simple. As I said, the KISS program, keep it super simple, is going to be I tried my best to make it as direct as possible because there were other little things that I did to let go of these habits. But for me, this was the formula, right? This was the formula that really allowed me to step into this version that doesn't need to smoke in order to self-soothe. And I don't need to smoke in order to make myself feel better. These are habits, right? And the more we can alter our habits to, and I personally believe this, the more we can alter our habits to be our ideal self, the more we will live a fulfilled life, because we are literally doing what we want to do, and that's a beautiful thing. So I won't run it up too much longer. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes, and I'm happy that you clicked on this video and took a look for yourself, because I know just by hearing what I'm talking about, it's going to get the wheels turning. And even if you don't commit to it today, feel free to come back to this video whenever you feel like it and whenever you feel ready to do so. And I'd also like you guys to make friends in the comment section. If you are posting about this, I'd like you to share, how long have you been smoking for? What is your why? Why are you quitting? What is the reason that you're moving forward and altering your self-image, improving your self-image? And the reason I say this is because oftentimes having a community can be that extra layer, oh, Julie did it, and I'm doing it with Julie, so therefore I'm not going to let Julie down, right? And so these little things can help a lot. And just as a bonus, one thing I'd like to share with you guys, that it wasn't something I did, but it's something that was given to me as an option, was that if you have a collateral, this can really be motivating. And by collateral, I mean, let's say you're married and you make a promise to your wife or your husband, listen, if I do this, and I'm telling you I'm doing this right now, if I relapse and I take a step back and start smoking cigarettes again, I will give you $1,000 cash. And this will stop you in your tracks when you are really considering relapsing, because you're going to think about it, you're going to say, is that cigarette really worth $1,000? And I just use $1,000 as a nice round number, but whatever is a lot to you, right? $1,000 might not be much to you. Maybe it's too much. Pick a number that is going to be stirring up emotions within you to the point that it makes you reconsider the decision that you're making. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you once again. Cheers, THD. Leo here with you guys, and I leave you with one of my favorite quotes: peace, positive energy always creates elevation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers.